You've felt it before. That odd sensation when someone enters your life and immediately feels familiar, like they've been waiting for you. They see you in ways others don't, understand your deepest needs before you even express them. The connection is electric, magnetic even. But months later, you're left wondering how someone who once seemed so perfect could leave you feeling so empty. What if I told you this wasn't coincidence? What if this pattern, this dance between the highly empathic and those with dark psychological traits, is happening at a neurobiological level that most people never see? You're about to discover why empaths and psychopaths are drawn together like opposite ends of a magnet, and more importantly, how to break this pattern for good. The truth is, this dynamic isn't random. It's a neurological trap that's been locking good people into toxic relationships since the beginning of human interaction, and today, we're going to decode it. Most people think psychopaths target anyone vulnerable. But that's not entirely accurate. They're specifically attracted to a certain type of emotional intelligence, the kind that makes you exceptional at understanding others. The very gift that makes you special is precisely what makes you visible to them. When you walk into a room, you absorb emotional information like a sponge. You can sense tension between a couple before they even speak. You feel the anxiety of the person next to you on the subway. You intuitively understand what others need. This isn't just sensitivity, it's a neurological difference in how your brain processes social information. Your mirror neuron system, the part of your brain responsible for empathy, is hyperactive. Studies using fMRI scans show that highly empathic people have enhanced neural responses when witnessing others' emotions. Your brain literally mirrors what others feel with remarkable precision. Here's where it gets interesting. Psychopaths and those with pronounced dark triad traits have the opposite neurological profile. Brain imaging reveals reduced activity in regions like the amygdala and ventromedial prefrontal cortex, areas crucial for emotional processing and moral decision-making. In essence, your brain naturally overconnects, theirs underconnects, and, well, that creates the perfect storm. Think about it, have you ever found yourself inexplicably drawn to someone who seemed to need your understanding? Someone complicated whose emotional depth felt like a puzzle you were uniquely qualified to solve? That's not coincidence, that's your empathic nature responding to their emotional void. You see, psychopaths don't just lack empathy, they crave it. They hunger for the emotional richness they can't generate themselves. And you're a master at providing exactly that. The cruel irony is that the very qualities that make you extraordinary, your compassion, your desire to understand others, your ability to see the good in everyone, are precisely what make you vulnerable to those who would exploit these gifts. But wait, you might be thinking, I'm not naive, I'm actually quite good at reading people. And that's exactly what makes this dynamic so insidious. Your empathic abilities have likely helped you navigate complex social situations with remarkable skill. You pick up on subtle cues others miss. You intuitively understand what makes people tick. In most contexts, this makes you emotionally intelligent. But when faced with someone who has mastered the art of emotional manipulation, these same abilities can backfire spectacularly. Because while you're busy reading genuine emotional cues, they're busy manufacturing them. It's like bringing an authentic emotional instrument to a concert where everyone else is lip-syncing. You're playing by different rules entirely. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone who seemed to get you completely from the very beginning? Who mirrored your interests, values, and dreams with such precision it felt like finding your other half? That feeling, that intoxicating sense of being truly seen, is what psychologists call love bombing. It's a deliberate tactic where someone overwhelms you with attention, affection, and apparent understanding to quickly create emotional dependency. For most people, this feels off, too much, too soon. But for empaths, it often feels like finally being appreciated for who you truly are. The validation you've always craved but rarely received. What's actually happening is a sophisticated form of neurological hacking. The psychopath is observing your emotional responses with clinical precision, cataloging what makes you light up, what triggers your insecurities, and most importantly, what keeps you coming back for more. They're exploiting a quirk in your neurochemistry. When you feel deeply understood, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, creating powerful feelings of attachment. Combined with dopamine from the excitement of this intense connection, you become neurologically tethered to someone who feels like home but is anything but safe. This isn't your fault. Your brain is functioning exactly as it should. The problem is that you're dealing with someone whose brain functions in fundamentally different ways. Consider this. Studies show that psychopaths can actually turn their empathy on and off like a switch when properly motivated. They don't feel emotional resonance automatically the way you do, but they can simulate it with frightening accuracy when it serves their purpose. So, while you're responding with genuine emotion, they're calculating their next move in a game you don't even realize you're playing. I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever ignored red flags because you were so focused on understanding someone's pain? Have you found yourself repeatedly drawn to people who need fixing? Do you often feel responsible for others' emotional well-being, even at the expense of your own? These patterns aren't random personality quirks. They're signs of an empathic nature that's been weaponized against you. The good news? Once you understand the neurobiological tether between empaths and psychopaths, you can begin to untangle it. Knowledge truly is power here. Let me share what I call the boundary paradox, something that might, transform how you approach relationships forever. Most empaths believe that having strong boundaries means being less compassionate, less understanding, less of what makes them special. But here's the truth. Boundaries don't diminish your empathy. They actually channel it toward those who truly deserve it. Think of your empathy like sunlight. Plants thrive in it. They take that energy and grow, eventually producing oxygen and fruit that benefits the ecosystem. But psychopaths are like solar panels that absorb your emotional energy, convert it to power for themselves, and give nothing back to the environment. One practical tool I want you to start using immediately is the slow reveal technique. Instead of sharing your deepest self right away, which empaths often do in the spirit of authentic connection, intentionally pace the revelation of your inner world. This isn't about being inauthentic. It's about creating space to observe how the other person handles the smaller truths before you entrust them with the bigger ones. Healthy individuals will respect this pace. Those with exploitative intentions will often show impatience, pushing for deeper access before it's earned. Pay attention to their reactions when you maintain a boundary. Do they respond with respect, or do they make you feel guilty for having limits at all? That response tells you everything. Another crucial mindset shift involves recognizing the difference between empathy and responsibility. You can deeply understand someone's pain without taking ownership of it. You can witness someone's struggle without becoming their solution. This distinction is neurologically significant. When you observe someone's emotions without absorbing them, you activate different neural pathways, ones that allow for compassion without depletion. The warning signs of this toxic dance are often subtle but consistent. The relationship moves at an unnatural speed. You find yourself constantly explaining or justifying their behavior to friends. Your emotions swing between extreme highs and confusing lows. You feel more alive but somehow less yourself. Perhaps most tellingly, you begin to doubt your own perceptions, a state psychologists call cognitive dissonance, where your intuition tells you something's wrong while your conscious mind creates elaborate explanations for why everything's fine. This isn't weakness. It's the result of sophisticated emotional manipulation targeting the very neural pathways that make you exceptional at connecting with others. Breaking this pattern permanently requires more than just recognizing it. It demands a fundamental rewiring of how you perceive your empathic gifts. Your ability to understand others deeply isn't a burden to bear. It's a strength to be selectively shared. It doesn't make you responsible for healing broken people. It makes you capable of forming profound connections with those who are emotionally healthy enough to reciprocate. The next time you feel that magnetic pull towards someone who seems to need your unique understanding, pause, ask yourself, is this person capable of seeing me as clearly as I see them, or am I just a mirror for their needs? That single question can interrupt the neurological patterning that's kept you locked in this cycle. Remember, the most powerful form of empathy isn't the kind that sacrifices your well-being for others. It's the kind that recognizes your own emotional needs as equally valid. The kind that understands that true connection can only exist between people who are capable of it. You deserve relationships where your extraordinary capacity for understanding is met with equal depth. Where your emotional intelligence is matched, not exploited. Where your ability to see others is reciprocated with being truly seen yourself. This isn't just about avoiding psychopaths. It's about creating space for the authentic connections your empathic nature is actually designed for. So the next time you feel yourself being drawn into someone's orbit with unusual speed and intensity, remember, your empathy is your superpower, but even superheroes need to be selective about how they use their gifts. If this video resonated with you, you're probably someone who thinks deeply about human connection, someone who values authentic relationships. Someone who wants to use their emotional intelligence as the gift it truly is, rather than having it exploited as a vulnerability. I'd love to continue this conversation with you. Subscribe to the Behavior Algorithm for more insights that bridge neuroscience and real-world relationship dynamics. Together, we can transform how you experience connection, not by dimming your light, but by ensuring it shines where it can truly flourish. Your extraordinary capacity for understanding others isn't a weakness to overcome, it's a strength to be protected. And that protection begins with understanding the invisible tethers that have been binding you to those who cannot truly see you.